dear ones to Unlock series. This time it's part 2 of John Dryden's contribution as a critic. In the first part, remember, we looked into his formal work of criticism, namely an essay on dramatic poesy. In this part, we are going to look into Dryden's preface to the Fables. Dryden's principles of poetry are exemplified in his last critical essay, Preface to the Fables. Now, fables, ancient and modern, written by Dryden, are verse paraphrases of tales by Ovid, Boccaccio and Chaucer, and the first book of Homer's Iliad with Dryden's own poems in between. The preface is actually an innovation used by Dryden as a framework for criticism. He used it to explain to his readers his own act of writing poetry, drama or prose. That means it is a kind of a window that he opens to the world for the readers. It is for us to peep in and see his mind at work. It is a method which has been used later with wonderful effect by critics like Johnson, Arnold and even Shaw. Dryden, as a translator of Homer, Virgil, Ovid and Chaucer, did a wonderful job of resuscitating the dying literature of the past, and thereby he was actually trying to keep up a living tradition. And therefore, Preface to the Fables can be considered as the best and finest fruit of Dryden as a critic. Now, what Professor Sainsbury tells about the Preface to the Fables is remarkable. Professor Sainsbury tells about the Preface to the Fables, I quote, "It winds up what the essay had practically begun, a volume of critical writing, which if not pure, yet far applied, mixed and sweetened criticism, deserves to be put on the shelf, reserved for the best criticism of the world." So we need not go after any other explanation to understand the quality of the preface. According to Professor Sainsbury, it can be treated as the best criticism available in the world. Now, when you think of Dryden's contribution to criticism, we cannot escape his study on Chaucer. He founded a tradition of Chaucer as the father of English poetry and pointed out his skill in the art of characterization. So, Dryden studies Chaucer and founded a tradition of Chaucer as the father of English poetry. And Dryden also tells that he talks about Chaucer's skill in the art of characterization. The principle that Dryden advances here is that the poet's function is to represent human nature. And this theory has caught up especially with novelists like Jane Austen, Dickens and George Eliot. Moreover, Dryden sees a continuing tradition in English poetry from Chaucer through Spenser and Milton to himself. In this, he inaugurates historical criticism. An assessment of Dryden as a critic will not be complete without a reference to his prose style. According to Arnold, the needful qualities for prose are regularity, uniformity, precision, and balance, and these qualities are definitely found in the style of Dryden. Dryden's prose is characterized by clearness, vigor, a wonderful felicity of phrasing, and a colloquial ease. And therefore, in the opinion of Arnold, it is an excellent example of measured prose. Now, we also need to think about the limitations of Dryden as a critic. His concessions to traditions, inconsistencies in his stand, lack of concreteness and resulting vagueness in argument cannot be overlooked. But no doubt he anticipated modern methods of analysis which help to perceive fresh beauties in literature and understand excellences hitherto vaguely valued. That is, Dryden helped us to understand the worth or the value of literature which had been neglected. That is, he makes the readers understand the value of a work of literature. So finally, we can say that Dryden's work of literary criticism remains a lasting statement. Thank you for watching and listening to this video. I hope you have understood Dryden's contribution as a critic. So take care, stay safe, and stay healthy. Bye for now.